اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, today we will continue to the very important topic for you to, if you want to know, if you really want to understand about the knowledge management. Briefly, this topic this week is very important. This topic, week number 3, where it summarizes all the main components of knowledge management. And I really hope that this week 3 you will be able to embed in your report. Okay, meaning that the how you creatively include these components into your report case study. Okay, I leave it to you, no problem. Because but this topic this week is very important. If you still unclear about what does it mean by the implementation of knowledge management, this week is very important for you to understand. Okay, where you will talk about the. Okay, let's have a wait. Let's wait first. Your friend still coming. Okay, while waiting for your friend, please write down your name at the chat section as a proof for your of your attendance. Okay, 12 people will inshallah keep coming. Okay, all right, alhamdulillah. Okay, almost 14. Okay, okay, well, write down your name. Okay, and also this topic for knowledge management, especially with regard to this week, it's also related to the change management. My friend who is a government officer, PTD, Pegawai Tadbir Diplomatic from GPA, used to inform me that among the famous question being asked during the interview for the post of the government officer is about the change management. Anyone can define to me what does it mean by change management in your own words? Ayuni Mustafa, can you do that? What is change management? Change management. Sister Ayuni Mustafa, can you tell me what does it mean? What does it mean by the change management?
I'm not really sure, sir.
Okay, this is the first time you heard about change management? The word change management?
Yes, I am.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that's better like that. Okay, inshallah, after we finish this week, this topic today, I hope that you will have some ideas. What does it mean to be with the meaning of change management? Maybe at the same time, I'm giving a lecture, you can Google it. The meaning of change management. It's very important, especially when you become when you are holding a post as a head of department or in a ministry, as the Ketua Penurut Usaha, chief of the assistant secretary, okay, in the ministry, you sometimes you are required or you are become the under secretary, Setiausaha Bahagian, under secretary. You need to think on how to include the new technologies, the new system into your organization. And it requires sometimes it will your effort will face the resistance from your colleagues or from your subordinates. That's in general about change management. Also about the knowledge management. So please, inshallah, after this you will have some ideas about change management. Same time, try to Google it to look to see the meaning because it's common. For example, you are applying for the post of the IT officer in the government. One of the things, the famous question I asked my friend is the one of the big prominent officer there in JPA. Is this the common? He told me, what happened to your syllabus? Because many of our graduate is not aware. First, many graduate nowadays, as we are talking about graduate, I'm talking about interview while waiting for your friend to come. I'm talking about interview for the Malaysian context. First, many graduate are not aware about our government structure. They do not know what are the meaning by the central agencies. What are central agencies in Malaysia? They do not know the flow of command and from the executive to the judiciary to the legislative. Okay, from the legislative to judiciary up to the executive. Who are the executive? They do not know the role of the who's leading the ministry. Either is it the minister? Yes. Politically, yes. In terms of administration, who's leading the ministry? Shahrul Nukman, who's leading the ministry in the administration? Minister, politics, yes. But administration, who's leading the ministry?
Sir Min leading the ministry.
Leading in administration in the ministry, any ministry. What's the post name? The post in the ministry.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister is executive, the chief for executive in the Malaysian government. I'm talking about and politically, yes, PM, but not in the administration. Administration means that the permanent post in the ministry. Secretary General, have you heard about that? Ketua Setiausaha.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, that's the thing that. Who's the leading of the whole administration in Malaysia? Including all the Secretary General. KSN, have you heard of that?
No, sir. KSN.
Ketua Setiausaha Negara.
Yes, I heard that post. I don't know
chief, Secretary General. Chief National Secretary. Yes, that's the this no. What my friend told me is true. So, brothers and sisters, for Malaysian, maybe for non-Malaysian, you may have a different government structure. I'm talking about those who intend to work in the government sector. Try to make yourself familiar with your government structure, especially for Malaysian. Okay. Then the concern raised by my friends very true. Okay. Our Malaysian student, when they go for the interview for government, normally they're not aware. Even when you are working as a private sectors, you need to know all this stuff so that it becomes easier for you to make them as your counterpart, to deal with them. Okay, this is a thing that I hope that brothers and sisters, since you're in third and fourth year student, fourth level of your study, in addition to the technical stuff that you have, that you know, try to extend your knowledge into another dimension, so that you will become someone when you go for the interview are capable to show that, look, I'm not only the person who know about my specialization, but also I'm the one who can give, who know about what is happening around me. Okay, in terms of the government, in terms of administration, in terms of the current issues, because these are the things that also reflected about the knowledge management we are trying to discuss today. Okay, so for those who just joined, this topic is very important for today, this week. It is because we can say a foundation for us to understand what does it mean by knowledge management implementation, either in the government or in the private sector. Okay, so let's, without further ado, okay, before that, copy first your class to as now I have I was told lecturers are required to provide many proof of attendance, maybe for the pictures and so forth. Okay, so let's continue with presentation. So, brothers and sisters, while waiting for this, you have done your part as a student in technical courses, in technical classes, programming whatsoever. Now it is time for you, okay, to extend from your comfort zone, okay, to have a very comprehensive knowledge about what is happening around you, politics, society, social, economy. When we talk about blockchains, for example, blockchains in government, how many of you from 1 to 10 have confidence more than 5 to speak about blockchains in government, the implementation of blockchains in government or in the private sector? Okay, how blockchains can contribute to the interoperability, how blockchains can be assisted by API. I hope that all of you will have some of these ideas, okay? Because this thing, people will be asking you from the basic things about your study, and they will be asking about your foundation, your understanding about your government or your administration in your country, or so that they will test you, they will know your knowledge about your country, and then to see whether you are patriotic enough about or not, or you just don't care about what's happening in your country. And then we go more than that about the latest technology that's happening in your program, BIT or BIT especially. So if you feel that, sir, I'm confident in the range of 7 to talk about blockchains in the government, the implementation, and how the infrastructure, then alhamdulillah, I'm happy to hear that. It means that you learn something, you are capable to extend your ideas. And also maybe you can include the concept of knowledge management in the discussion. Ada lagi? Alright, tak apa. No problem. Okay. So this is the thing so today we discuss about knowledge management foundations, infrastructures, mechanism, and technologies. This is a topic we discuss. Before we go further, allow me to refresh your memory on the definition, okay, on knowledge management, and then we go to the knowledge management solutions, the foundation. What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean by the solution and the processes and system, and the foundation, infrastructures, mechanism, and technologies. What does it mean by knowledge management infrastructure? What does it mean by knowledge management mechanisms? Okay, and technologies. And I hope that all these things, directly or indirectly, I will see in your case study report. When you talk about the implementation of knowledge management in your imaginary IT companies. All right. Okay, this is to refresh you what we discussed in the first class, the meaning of knowledge management to get the most out of your knowledge resources, individual and organizational level. And I gave example the reason why you need to leverage the knowledge of your members by using the PC repair companies. Okay. Why these guys? I give example. This guy, very knowledgeable motherboard and this processor, networking, all the stuff, and then suddenly this guy on emergency leave, and client came to your shop and asked about the motherboard, and you have no knowledge. Your company is still incapable not to leverage the knowledge, then it's going to be a problem. Okay, so how to needed to get the most out of your knowledge resources. Okay. One of the things we can, among the lecturers, you know that among the lecturers, okay, among the lecturers, we need to get ready sometime. And if we will be assigned to teach the subject that is not, we learn, but we're not expert in it. Okay. That's why one of the requirement for the lecturers is to read, to expose themselves, to try to write something, to mix around with the seniors, to have the informal collaboration, so that we will have some ideas. Okay. Alhamdulillah, for knowledge management, I learned when I did my master. One of the part of it, I read it when I did my PhD. Alhamdulillah, about knowledge management. I also have friends in government who also become that's why I mix around this thing. Okay, and I have two PhD students who graduated, who wrote about knowledge management. Alhamdulillah, I'm not expert, but Alhamdulillah, I'm on the track to give you a lecture about knowledge management. Okay, because it is proven. I have two students, PhD student, graduated already, doing a PhD in knowledge management. Alhamdulillah, and they pass. Okay. Now, to what's needed in any organization, Petronas. You can imagine Petronas. You have the engineers, you have the administrators, you have the IT officers, you have the what? You have the stakeholders. Every department, they have the knowledge. They have the, we can say that they are the whole, the knowledge of Petronas. The substantive, sub-knowledge, either substantive knowledge, or the sub-knowledge from every department. And how to make sure that those knowledge can be leveraged, so that when someone leaves the company, his knowledge can be restored as a tacit knowledge, explicit knowledge. In the previous class, we discussed the difference between tacit and explicit knowledge. We discussed many types of knowledge. I hope you still remember. So how to make sure that his tacit or her tacit knowledge can be transformed into explicit, so that other people can benefit. This is one common thing. Okay, knowledge resources. Okay, there are most of knowledge resources that are relevant to the decision, goals, and strategies of an individual or organization. Your core business, your direction, your aim, your vision. And your vision and mission actually must be supported with the relevant knowledge. Otherwise, your company or your organization will not be able to achieve the vision and mission. Get the most. What do I mean by that? Get the most? The impact of KM and the goal achievement. When your company is capable to leverage identified knowledge. But before you can leverage knowledge, you need to identify the knowledge. That's why, and in the previous class, I asked you personally as an individual to classify your knowledge. In the week 2, we talk about the knowledge, the nature of knowledge, so that people will know what they do know. After that, they will know what they do not know. Okay, so I hope that you start with yourself as individual, the type of knowledge that you know. From the year 1, year 2, year 3 as future ICT professional. And you try to range, to measure your knowledge from 1 to 10 of this database. For example, database, for example, or networking. In some part of it, 7, 5, 3. So that when you know that the thing that you know, then you will be able to, I'm still not capable of knowing this thing. And my knowledge in this level is only 1. So you can improve it. Then you'll be able to, when you work in an organization, and the organization wants to implement knowledge management, then after knowing everyone's knowledge, then the organization can get the most out there from the knowledge resources. Otherwise, it becomes just the myth, okay, or hearsay. We can say that. The things needed. What are the possible activities to discover new knowledge, to discover the knowledge, to capture existing knowledge, and to share knowledge with others? The things needed. Possible activities. Some companies indirectly they make it a simple briefing before they start the work, to start the operation. Okay, I still remember when I worked as a part-time sorter loader in UPS in UK when I did my PhD. Sorter loader for 30 minutes they will have this session where they teach us. First, they have many sections, primary on the conveyor, loading, uploading, sorting. They will teach every day in 1 week, different section. Okay, today we talk about the primary, the work in primary. So everybody will look. Even though you are not working in a primary, but you will be looking at it, learning it. It's gonna be repetitive. Every day, 7 days a week. Okay, so that people will know. When time comes, when they need to know that work, they will be able to know. To capture existing knowledge, possible activities. Maybe you can apply, you can think on how to have what are the possible activities that can be done in your imaginary ICT companies. Sir, why we need to think about this? This company does not exist, just imaginary. Yes, so that you will have ideas to tell your interviewer, look, I know about knowledge management, and you can give your ideas on how to capture existing knowledge, on how to discover new knowledge based on the thing that you apply in your imaginary company. Okay, maybe your interviewer will agree or disagree. That's something, but at least you have some ideas rather than say I have no ideas at all. It will give some bad image to our graduates. As I mentioned in the beginning of this class, my friend from GPA asked me what happened to our syllabus, to the university, public university syllabus. Many of IPTA students, they are not aware about the current structure or even some part of the knowledge that beyond their specialization. I prove it is what his concept is true in our class. So brothers and sisters, make yourself ready. Okay, there are a lot of challenge await you, especially after the pandemic. The seniors lose the job, then the seniors want to steal. They are looking for the job, and you're not going to compete with the fresh graduate, but you're going to also to compete with those who are in the field for many years. So you need to have some added value in your knowledge. Now is no time for comfort zone for the fresh graduate. Your mental must be strong. You must have strong desire to work, to contribute, to survive. Otherwise, I don't know. Pray to Allah will help you. All right. Now we go to the difference between knowledge, the concept of business intelligence and knowledge management. In our department, we have, I believe, we have one specialization as known as the business intelligence and information science, where this specialization is focusing on data analytics, data specialists, okay, and data warehousing expert, okay, or data administrator. They focus on the data. Yes, now it has become the one of the required main the famous well-known job in ICT. Okay, data analytics to identify patterns, for example, from the data, email, social media, transaction. You'll be able to identify through the system that you are using, you'll be able to identify the patterns so that it will help the company to anticipate what's going to happen in next weeks, what's going to happen next month, so forth. That's a business intelligence. They are using data, they are using information as an input. But for the knowledge management, there are many nowadays companies such as in Malaysia, for example, Petronas, they're looking forward for KM knowledge management. How I know? Because I have one student. I think now he's doing this master at Turkey, Brother Zarif. I don't know whether you know or not. He told me he took knowledge management in my class, and he did his internship at Petronas, and even though I'm not his examiner, okay, to see his internship, but he invited me because he told me that many of the things that we discussed in the class, actually, it is in the what Petronas is trying to do. You can check with the Brother Zarif. I have his WhatsApp, and he's invite me as what call that, to honor my presence as a lecturer. Alhamdulillah, for me, it's a great thing to know. The thing that we discussed, actually, the big company is trying to do that, from the business intelligence to knowledge management. This is a difference between business intelligence, which you, and information science, your specialization. The main data input is the data information, and knowledge management company, information and knowledge. In the previous class, we discussed about what does it mean by information, what does it mean by knowledge. So I hope that you can refer back to your notes or listen to the lecture, which I upload to the YouTube. Okay. Business intelligence result in discovery information. KM result in discovery of new knowledge, conversion of knowledge. You can imagine the next level. Okay. Discovery of patterns within data and information, but for KM, it's about discovery of new knowledge. Okay, the new knowledge. Why Google managed to come out with many tools, apps? Okay, it has a very powerful engine, search engine. Even though and it becomes something. It support the cloud computing nowadays because of the conversion, discovery of new knowledge, extension of new knowledge. That's why in my other class, IT in Islam, I want my student to look and observe the existing technologies and propose what are the future digital technology that can emerge from that current technology, so that they will be able to understand and how Islam will look at it. Okay, just simple. And technology may emerge in new things in just few decades. When I was student in 2000, in year 2000, 21 years ago, I never imagined that someday there will be a phone that is able to transmit videos. This thing I only see in the science fiction movie or spy movie. That's it. When I was a student, but now it's something common. Why? Because need the discovery of new knowledge. Okay, not just rely on the patterns from the data, but the members start to think what going to be a new knowledge, new things. Okay, so you can start thinking as individual. Okay, how the devices that can be made or manufactured from the current technology. Okay, data critical to BI. I think you can go read by yourself this thing. The comparison, knowledge management and business intelligence companies is between three components: intellectual components, processes, and key components. For the knowledge management company, the main component is the primary knowledge, explicit and tacit, and secondary is the information data. But for business intelligence, the primary component is the data from the email, social media, transaction. You identify the patterns so that the company will be anticipating the products, the process, the promotion, whatsoever. Okay. The processes, knowledge capture, sharing, application, discovery. But for the the business intelligence is data access, analysis, and presentation. Okay, and key component is social mechanism and IT. But for the business intelligence, it's mainly on IT. Why social mechanism? Because you also can have a new knowledge while having a social interaction with your friends or with your seniors or with your other people. If yourself has made the knowledge as part of your culture. Every day you think, every day you read, every day you observe, every day you. That's why in Al-Quran itself, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. There are many, many ayah. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ a lot of recommendation from Allah or challenge from Allah to look, see, ponder, observe. Because why? Because this is part of it. To see and look so that we're able to understand. Okay. In the previous class, I read somewhere, know whether it's because that I saw in social media, someone was asking Albert Einstein about the facts, how fast the sound travels. He told me you can find in the textbook. The college graduate must be able to think rather than memorize. That's what I understand from that the image. So you learn already about the technical knowledge. And now it's time for you to extend as a young future ICT professional. What are the things that can be innovate from the current technology? Okay, you can have it through social interaction with your friends, either through social media. At the same time, think and observe and read about new things. All right. Okay, these are the summary of what are the things that we're going to study for this semester. Solution, processor, system. In knowledge management, there are two ways on how to implement. We need to tackle the solution and we need to tackle the foundation. For the solution, we need to make sure that the processes and the system, inshallah we discuss later after this, are properly taken care during the implementation. And also as a foundation for a company, before the company wants to implement knowledge management, the company must get ready with the right infrastructures, with the right mechanism and the right technologies to support the solution. Now we go to this KM Solution Foundation. The solution KM Solution, we can say that refers to the ways in which specific aspect of knowledge management, such as knowledge discovery, knowledge capture, knowledge sharing, and application knowledge can be accomplished. Simple with it. Refers to the ways, either through technology, through the social interaction, or whatever. Okay. Specific whether maybe your company focus on discovery. Maybe your company focus now there are different phases of implementation. I don't think that unless you are very well-established companies such as Google, Amazon, that's a different story. But for the normal company, maybe you need to specify first what are the priority. Is it discovery? Is it a capture? Is it to share? Or is it to apply the knowledge? Maybe for some company, small company, they need to capture first. At the beginning, maybe you need just to capture first. You need to capture what? Capture the existing knowledge from individuals and think. Any question? Okay, please, Brother Awad.
Yes, I just want to ask, is the research labs kind of a form of knowledge management?
Research lab, yes. Research lab, one part of it. Forum, one part of it. You know, online forum, webinar, anything you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it. as long as individuals willing to converse, share, and agree or disagree. You can say that. It not only does not mean through the technology only per se, no. You can have the social media, you can have anything, as long as that's why in the previous class we taught community of practice. There are a group of people who are have interest on certain topic. They discuss about themselves, even though their location are dispersed in various locations, but they have same interest, and they are willing to share. They are willing to discuss. They are willing to leverage and so forth. Okay, that's why in the thank you very much for your question, brother. Okay, that's very true. So it depends on the nature of your organization. Maybe if you're working in a small company comprising 5 members, including the boss, maybe the priority is to capture the existing knowledge. Okay. Maybe, but after that, once you capture everybody, then you identify the expertise of individual, and your company managed to leverage so that the knowledge of A will be belong also known by in the B, but the knowledge of B also known by C. Everybody has the same, at least we can say that, same level of expertise. Okay, then alhamdulillah, inshallah, you need to go to another level, knowledge discovery. Okay, discovery the new knowledge. Okay, the new knowledge, for example, after combining, what are the things that we can do? Maybe when you have a new project, you combine all the 5 members, the knowledge of 5 members, and they come out the best solution to accomplish the project. That's discovery. Okay. For example, you have you got a project to have to set up the network environment in an organization, and you know you have limited budget, and suddenly after leveraging, discussing, you know that why not we use the network OS, which is open source. I don't know, maybe a Debian, or I don't know, Debian, Red Hat, or Linux, meaning that, so that become cheaper from the administration, from the because it is not a proprietary. Let's say, for example, discovery, and you discuss on how to the best way to do that. Okay, that's after capture you discovery, and then maybe you go to on how to apply in that different environment. Okay, different priority. Okay, discuss. This is more. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but in the face-to-face, normally I will be ask my student to sit down. But this is the way to think. Discuss on how to implement knowledge discovery, capture, sharing, application in your imaginary company. One sentence. For example, KM solution in our company is achieved through 3 processes: brainstorming, central repository, and compulsory knowledge sharing at the end of working hours. In order to motivate employees, the company will be using a carrot and stick approach, promotion, and increment. That's one example. At least this single statement will become the main point of reference for everybody when they want to implement knowledge management. Must be one sentence of solution, KM solution. Okay, so I would like to see it. Maybe you can have another dimension on KM solution foundation. Okay, and a part of it for the KM solution have the KM processes and KM systems, and it must be supported by KM foundation, which is KM mechanism, infrastructure, and technologies. Okay, these are the KM knowledge management processes. First, they are discovery, capturing, sharing, application, but it depends on your organization. Some organization, they don't want to focus on the capture. Some only discovery because due to their nature of business. Some application only. Okay, some sharing only. For example, the educational institution, the best way to share information. Okay, the best way to apply information. Okay, through the LMS, learning management system, open source Caroline, for example, share the knowledge, or through the social media that we have. Okay, or extend everybody must have the YouTube channels. That's an example. KM process depends on your organization. And some company or organization which is more, which is advanced, which is have a lot of resources, they can have all four as part of their knowledge management processes. But it requires ISO. Even IIM, we have ISO, but we focus on the one part of it, which is only now we see the beginning of to improve the KM foundation, which is infrastructure. We have the mechanism, we have the system, but still the culture is not there, the change management implementation is not there, and so forth. There are many levels which before IIM can fully obtain the knowledge management, implement knowledge management. Okay, this is the knowledge management system. What are the knowledge management system? There are two things involved: mechanism. Inshallah, we discuss what the mechanism, either it is social or technical, and also technologies. That's the KM system. In KM system, you must have these two: mechanism, either social or technologies, or social or technical. Second is technology to support it. To support what? To support this thing. Capture, discovery, and sharing. Okay, the system. Okay, I hope that we already the 10 past 9. Okay. Inshallah, we try to stop. I don't know how many percent already in your mind. Okay, let me test. Let me have a look. Muhammad Nur Faza. Muhammad Nur Faza, are you with me? Muhammad Nur Faza. Muhammad Nur Faza. Okay, can you tell me what does it mean by what are the two okay, what is the knowledge management solution? Simple. What is KM solution? Brother, are you with me? What is KM solution? Anyone can help? Hello? 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 Okay, Awad, what's the KM solution in your own words? What do you understand by KM solution?
I kind of see it as processes that we use it to capture or discover or
Yes.
store
Knowledge.
the knowledge.
Knowledge. That's good. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, brother Awad. Okay, for brothers sisters, I don't know whether you are sleeping, whether you are what you're doing now. I don't know. I think what based on what I saw, knowledge management is part of your important prerequisite topic. Okay, so I'm not going to entertain you as a first, second year student. You are third and fourth year student. So first one of the important point to survive after graduation is the attitude. Attitude to become best among the best. Either it is right. I mean that you do not worry about whether you are correct or you are wrong in answering the question. At least you try. If you see the attitude of feel shy, not bother, do not bother, do not or feel distorted if someone asks you, then I think, I don't know, maybe you need to revise your position as a majored student, third year student, fourth year student. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, no one forced you to be in my class. Okay. I'm so sorry if my class so bored, but I'm trying to try my best to, and I think looking at my current performance, how I receive a feedback from my student, I think I'm also not the right person, but I think we can say acceptable person to teach you about knowledge management. So if you, I don't know, but you think by yourself. Okay, I'm not going to treat you as a first or second year student. You are already a majored student. You are senior already. If you feel that nothing benefit from my class, just personally, sir, I'm so sorry. I think your class does not benefit me anything. So please improve something. Inshallah, no problem. I'll try to think, but give me suggestion on how to improve my lecture, because it happens that many times after the class, many students still on, even though we finish the class. It shows that you are sleeping. You going somewhere else. You don't care. I do not mind. My salary will not be decreased with your attitude, but just a person who concerned about your future. Okay, so one of the things that you can market for when you go for the interview is knowledge management, because people's looking for someone who are able to speak about this thing, who understand about this thing, because they know, many companies know now. When a pandemic happened, many people lose the job, many people pass away. There's a vacuum of expertise, and how to make sure that this vacuum can be optimized in future. They need knowledge management. So they need to people. That's why I'll give a focus. If I ask you, please answer or say don't know. It's better. Sorry, sir, I do not know. Better. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So rather than keep quiet, give no response for me, I don't know. It's up to you. You are a majored student. I'm not going to bother about that. Okay. Okay, let's continue. We still have 13 minutes. Are we going to stop at 9:30? Okay, these are the important point. Now we already discussed in order for us, any organization to implement knowledge management, they need to focus on solutions, which comprise both two things, two components, two items, processes and system. And what are the processes? These are processes: discovery, capture, share, and apply. They're the processes. In any processes, you want to process, not implement processes, they apply in this form. They are related to this form. And what are the systems? Okay, system these are mechanism and technologies. Okay, where the mechanism, we can say that it is related to the support, the mechanism technologies, the support whether they're social or technical. Okay, organizational or structural, we can say mechanism. Organizational or structure means used to promote knowledge management. Mechanism. Okay. And technologies. Okay, that's settled. Processes system. Now we go to this part of it. Okay, now system. Knowledge management system. This one. Technology to develop, to support, can process, it enable, and process. Okay, inshallah for the chapter 4. Now we go to the next level, which is one, knowledge infrastructure, which is under this category of foundation. Under foundation is one category known as the knowledge management infrastructure. First, we settle about solution. We know there are 4 processes in the KM processes. Okay, capture, discovery, apply, and share. And now we know the system, 2 components on the knowledge management system, which is mechanism and what? Technologies. Okay, you know. I'm not going to ask that. Okay, so now we go to the next level. What does it mean by knowledge management infrastructure? It is very important. It is the things related to the change management, the culture. Okay, I have to understand culture there. Okay, no problem. Organizational culture and organizational structure. Okay, and also these are the components of the knowledge management foundation under the umbrella of KM infrastructure. What are the infrastructure before organization must have? First, the org culture. Your culture must be heading towards knowledge sharing, knowledge discovery, knowledge capture, and knowledge application. That's why it's very important to start as individual first to see the importance of knowledge before it can be extended to the organizational level. What are your culture? Is it your culture, your organizational culture is individualistic, or it is based on the shura? Wa'murhum shura bainahum. Okay, or what? Is it a competitive environment, or everybody wants to have the same achievement? Like what happened to the Liverpool and Manchester United last night. Okay, 5-9. Okay, not only because of Mo Salah, you can see the morale of them. Everybody want to achieve something. Okay, that's the thing there. Sorry for Man U fans, maybe last night is not for you. Maybe at the night, but it shows that the culture of Liverpool has changed because everybody want to work together. Okay, there's no individualistic in that culture. Okay, culture. Now we go discuss about that later. And also now second infrastructure is the org structure. The structure, it is a horizontal, top down, or what? For the government, it's top down. You can because it's based on the clear chain of command. The prime minister give directive to the minister. Minister give directive to the secretary general. Secretary general. And secretary general give to the deputy secretary general. Deputy secretary general give to the under secretary. And the under secretary will brief the chief assistant secretary on how the point, the content, the facts need to be gathered. Then the chief assistant secretary will be asking will ask the assistant from assistant secretary, which is you when you join the government as junior officer. Okay. Then after that, the report will go up from the assistant secretary. He will present his work to the chief assistant secretary, and then we go to presented to the under secretary, and then presented to the deputy secretary general. Then secretary general will bring everything to the minister. Minister will discuss among them level, at their level, and then presented to the prime minister. Prime minister presented to the House of Commons, for example. That's a culture. You can see that the flow also, it shows that indirectly the importance of knowledge management. Okay, and then the third one is an IT infrastructure. Now, alhamdulillah, with the cloud computing, you know that cloud computing, you have no excuse actually to not finish your case study report, because you can submit to me through the link. You can share with me the link of I'm not. If you can share, you can submit to me either with the link of your Google documents. Okay, you share with me, or you can email me. No problem. Okay, under cloud computing, you have no excuse not to finish it. You can have everybody have a task. You can do it right now on the same time, give ideas and so forth. IT now the IT infrastructure itself has become something readable for organization to use. Okay, social media you have the cloud computing technologies, you have the central repositories, Google Drive, for example. Now, you have all the supporting technologies outside, which you can download and use in your company. And now the fourth one is the common knowledge. I mentioned to you just now. In company A, B, C, 5 members, how the knowledge of A can be known by B, knowledge of B can be known by A and C. This is the common knowledge. That's why before you can have the common knowledge, you need to know what you know as individual. Okay, and then we go to the physical environment. What type of environment, whether in the compartment, the location of the office, and so forth. Inshallah, we discuss that. Okay, it is at the organization level, cannot be accomplished by individual without support from organization. Yes, very true. It gives support to KM mechanism and KM technologies. All right. So I think we stop here for a while. I don't think it is worth to have. I hope that before you go back to your mahalla or you back to your daily routines, at least today you know something about, in order for organization to implement knowledge management, he or they need to focus on the two main points, which is what? KM solution and KM foundation. They must have these two. And for KM solution, they must focus either all processes or choose one processor from 4. I hope you know what are the 4 processes: discovery, capture, share, and apply on the processor, and systems comprising the mechanism and technologies. Okay, mechanism is the either structure or organizational. Inshallah, we discuss that later for system and technologies. And also under umbrella of foundation, the company must focus on infrastructure. We discussed just now about the 5 KM infrastructures. Org culture, your culture, you need to know about your culture. Org structure, organizational structure, and IT infrastructure, common knowledge, and physical environment. Inshallah, in next class, we will be discussing in detail what does it mean by org culture, what does it mean by org structure, and what does it mean by IT infrastructure, and what does it mean by common knowledge, and what does it mean by physical environment. Okay, under the category of knowledge management infrastructure. Then we will discuss about knowledge mechanism. What does it mean by KM KM mechanism? Okay, what does it mean by, and also we discuss also what does it mean by KM technologies. See, inshallah next class we continue on the KM infrastructure. I hope that all of you write down your name. Okay, so I think without further ado, we adjourn the class. Any question? Of course, no question. Okay, no problem. So I think without further ado, we adjourn the class with tasbih, kafarah, and surah al-Asr. Okay, thank you very much, brothers and sisters. You may leave now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Salam.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Salam.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.